Doomsday Glaciers in Antarctica are melting at an unprecedented pace, and they decide the fate of the world's sea levels. Rex Bear Leak Project, how the heck are you? This is just a quick update. I want to share a thread that I posted today on the website, forums.leakproject.com. Doomsday glaciers in Antarctica are melting so fast that experts are scrambling to come up with a solution. Now, the Antarctic ice sheet is the largest mass of ice on Earth, containing enough water to raise global sea levels by 187 feet. 187, baby. The glaciers of Pine Island Bay, are two of the largest and fastest melting in Antarctica. These two specific glaciers, the Pine Island and Thwaites glaciers, hold back 11 feet worth of global sea level rise. Those two. Pine Island Glacier is responsible for about 25% of Antarctica's loss of ice. Let me just read a quick excerpt to you. The glaciers of Pine Island Bay are two of the largest and fastest melting in Antarctica. A Rolling Stone feature earlier this year dubbed them the Doomsday Glaciers. Together, they act as a plug, holding back enough ice to pour 11 feet of sea level rise into the world's oceans. They claim that amount would submerge virtually every coastal city on the planet. For that reason, finding out how these glaciers will collapse is one of the most important questions on the globe today. So, is the world headed for an ice apocalypse? Now, recently on Leak Project, I shared an article with you guys that came out in Norway saying that the entire world is a petri dish and you are the experiment, you are the lab rat, you are the guinea pig. It is a global terraforming project to keep the planet as cool as they can, because experts predict that if temperatures rise 5 degrees within the next 100 years, it'll be so catastrophic it could annihilate life on the planet. Yet my question is, because they've been doing these stratospheric aerosol injection programs now for years, and they've really stepped it up the past several years, reports show that certain parts of the stratosphere have been depleted by as much as 76%. Read all about it. Rhode Island Geoengineering Act of 2017. Just type that into a search engine. You will find it. 76%. They've sprayed the globe. They've blanketed the globe up to 20 times with these solar radiation management programs. And in doing so, they're destroying the ozone. So if there's nothing left, what does it matter if the planet's cooler or warmer? It'll probably be a lot warmer if there's no ozone to protect it. Everything will get fried. No wonder they want an android society, and they just want to download their consciousness into an android society. Now let me share this article that I put together just real quick on forums.leakproject.com. You can see it right here. If you just want to read it, and if you want links to the locations, for example, I put a link, Google Maps, that show where Pine Island is, and just a quick rundown. So you can read the cliff notes at the top there, and then you can get into the details. Pine Island Glacier, if you type that into Google Maps, it'll take you to this location right here, and you can see it's more detailed right around here. It has some better satellite imagery. This thing is massive. Now also, if you look at the ozone layer, where's the hole in the ozone? Isn't it over the Antarctic? This right here, I wanted to pull up because let's say that the ice sheets start to melt. Let's say that Pine Island turns into the ocean, going away glacier style. Then look at all the areas here that are going to be affected. South America, the United States, North America, Canada, Mexico, Africa. Virtually all the islands are going to be affected. Australia, Southeast Asia, China, India, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, Pakistan, all over Africa, Europe, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Ireland, Scotland, United Kingdom, Iceland, Russia will be affected. The whole planet will be affected if there's an increase 11 additional feet. You can read about Pine Island Glacier, Wikipedia. Also the Thwaites Glacier. I'm probably mispronouncing that. About 60%. In the U.S., I think it's actually 80%. About 80% of the population is within 100 miles of the coast. Now, South Dakota sounds pretty good right now. South Dakota, in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, it'll probably withstand an 11-foot increase of the tides of the coast. Several thousand feet in elevation. Places like the Rockies, the Wasatch Front, places in New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Montana, Idaho. Even in Washington State, there's mountains in Washington State, but I don't know if it's a good idea to be out in Seattle. Now, it's like this slow boil. I don't know how fast, let's say that some catastrophic event happens and these things just melt in a very short time. Then how soon do we see the effects of that? Antarctica is the biggest mystery. I found an article recently how they discovered a frozen forest that's about 240 million years old out there. I wonder what kind of civilizations were on Earth 240 million years ago in Antarctica when it was more likely a lush landscape of forests and jungles and abundant loot and booty. Hello! Ladies and gentlemen, what are you going to do when the ice sheet comes for you? I don't know. I mean, do you live on the coast? Are you concerned about this at all? Are you keeping track of these glaciers that are breaking off of Antarctica? Or are you like many that say, well, they've been talking about it for years, nothing's happened, we're still here, everything's great, so I'm not going to worry about it? First of all, I wouldn't worry about it. Personally, I would be prepared. I don't think that living on the coast full time, if you live on the coast full time, that's great. It's beautiful on the coast. Do you have an exit strategy? Do you have a plan B? Imagine being in San Diego or San Francisco or in Los Angeles or on the coast somewhere, East Coast or West Coast, Chesapeake Bay, and things go really bad. Whether it's a natural disaster, a man-made disaster, a combination of disasters, do you want to be in that area, especially if you don't have a game plan to get out? You can always prepare more. It's like I hear people a lot of times say, well, you're not going to be able to do anything if this happens or if that happens. There's always a scenario that you might not prepare for. Hold on a second. Men in Black are calling me. There we go. Everything's okay now. They're just leaving a message. I think that it's fascinating the opportunities that we have today. Like most people, even if you're going paycheck to paycheck, like so many of us going paycheck to paycheck, you can still take a little bit out of that to prepare for future events. I talk to people sometimes and they're telling me about all their priorities because I was moonlighting yesterday for a friend of mine that owns a business out here in San Antonio. Very cool small business. Really nice guy. They've been in business for a few years. And, essentially, how would you like to stay in a condo or a resort or somebody's timeshare and not have to pay maintenance fees and stay in a property for like $300 for the week, maybe in Vail, Colorado during ski season? I mean, would that be a good deal for you? Or staying in a beautiful hotel in Austin that might go for $450 a night on the open market. If you could stay there for $150, would that be a good deal? Well, yeah. So anyway, and I was talking to people they're saying, hey, I want to do this so bad, but, I've got to fix the cat's teeth, and, I've got to take care of my parents, and my kids are going off to college, and I'm getting a new kitchen, and I'm getting a new fridge, and I'm getting a new car, and, all this just verbal vomit. It's like, yeah, I get it. Absolutely. And then I ask them, well, what are your priorities in life? And they'll tell me their priorities, and half the time, if not more than half the time, they don't even sync up with what they say their priorities are. If they actually write them down and they look at them and like, whoa, wow, you're right. That doesn't even come close to what I thought my priorities are. I spend more money on energy drinks and coffee than I do on my family, on taking them out on vacation for a weekend or a few days or a week. It's like they're on the work program. But anyway, so that's cool. I mean, hey, I'm not judging. I just think it's ironic when you really write stuff down and you look at your priorities and what you've actually written down as your priorities, and you're thinking about and doing the numbers and doing the math. But it's quite bizarre. So the point of the story, take a vacation, question everything, have some fun, and enjoy the coast while you can. Enjoy the beautiful coast and the ocean on the coast while you still can, before it's too late and the aliens come down and they suck your brains out like Slurpees, the Anunnaki Slurpees that Marshall Masters talked about that one day. All right, be the change you want to see. So today on the website, forums.leakproject.com, Doomsday Glaciers in Antarctica are melting so fast that experts are scrambling to 187, baby. The glaciers of Pine Island Bay, are two of the largest and fastest melting in Antarctica. These two specific glaciers, the Pine Island and Thwaites glaciers, hold back 11 come up with a solution. Now, the Antarctic ice sheet is the largest mass of ice on Earth, containing enough water to raise global sea levels by 187 feet. Doomsday Glaciers in Antarctica are melting at an unprecedented pace, and they decide the fate of the world's sea levels. Rex Bear Leak Project, how the heck are you? This is just a quick update. I want to share a thread that I posted. 7 feet worth of global sea level rise. Those two. Pine Island Glacier is responsible for about 25% of Antarctica's loss of ice. Let me just read a quick excerpt to you. The glaciers of